Hello and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is October 21st and we are back in, this is the autocrafting tower. So today was kind of a weird day. Feels like I did a lot but also didn't do a lot. I think mainly because my primary goal was to set up at least one of those fusion reactors. I did not get to that because I kind of spent the whole day buttoning up problems and upgrading random things. This guy right here I never ended up setting up, but I kind of forgot. It was actually one of the first things I crafted today and then just never went back to, which this Zinjin, which doesn't really say from here, but it's basically the multi-block version of the alloy smelter, not to be confused with the blast alloy smelter, which just outputs liquid stuff, or molten alloys. I mainly thought of doing this because there was one of the first things I tried to craft this morning. I was being blocked basically by my auto crafting for Electrum. And I was like, alright, probably. And then I looked at the recipe. I was like, oh, I probably was supposed to make this a while ago, but you're supposed to loosely there. Haven't really had an issue, but so I got that crafted. And aside from some coils, this guy should basically be done. Oh, yeah, actually, you know, now that I think about it, I don't think I ever got around to... Oh no, I did make them. Nice. Okay. It takes a layer of this encasement 5 things. I don't think I actually needed 16, but I think I only needed 8. But whatever. No big deal. If I go to build a second one, maybe I'll build an autocraft one and a normal one. So you might be able to tell I've got a bunch of extra multi-blocks set up over here, including a new one, which is this these two Volcanus multi-blocks. So these weren't actually the first ones I set up today. These ones are just what I've set up to be my autocraft ones, which are effectively replacing my EBF for any recipe that can run on circuit 11. I'm going to build a second set of 2 that'll be for anything that has to run on circuit 1, because there are a couple of them. I wasn't paying attention. I moved all the patterns over here, like every ingot pattern that was over there, besides the like hyper specific ones, and realized then that something like, say, electrical, let's see, not vibrant, energetic alloy, for example, dust. If we're to show this guy, for example, he has a circuit 11, but it takes hydrogen specifically, or circuit 1. These guys are running off of argon, so the just wouldn't work over here. Move those guys. I'm keeping those for now on the Mega EBF. But so I got these guys crafted, including setting up this battery. This battery is fed from an LUV energy hatch. The reason I'm able to use this is the LUV versus the IV, because I was basically, a lot of my problems today came from power issues, among other things, but the power being primary one. So I did a bunch of random upgrading to help with that. Let's see, which one do I want to start with? Well, I'm talking about that, so I'll go down here and start with that. So I did set up basically these guys that are already set up. They went through 2 transformers and went down to the 16 amp IV. Now they can just feed directly into the 16 amp LUV. So this guy is taking more in than before. Although it does seem to be rather inconsistent. Like, I'm not actually sure why that is. Like, it feels like I might have something turned the wrong way, but they all appear to be going in the right direction. Because they'll, like, randomly, I don't know, it changes. It seems to change more. The next step, which I didn't get around to, but probably will, because I'm still, like, this isn't much over the power I'm using. Or at least when I'm crafting. Nothing major is crafting right now, so that's why it's relatively low. Is bump these guys' temperature up to 99. I thought about building a second set of 4, but I really don't want to when I'm so close to fusion. Like, I just want to limp the base to getting to fusion, and then I don't have to rely on these anymore, because every time I upgrade them, it is a pain in the butt, and something usually goes wrong the first time. Which, speaking of which, I upgraded the reactors for the AE2. Now, I thought I remembered everything, but I kind of made a mistake along the way. So I broke this cable specifically so I could swap parts out without this part of the system trying to drop more things into it. and then when I turned it all back on, I forgot to put that cable there, which prevents it from pulling out the coolant cells, for example, before they fail. So while I was bumping up the temperature for one of them, the other exploded. Also, I was being silly about it, because when I was bumping up the temperature, I just like pulled out a coolant cell, let the temperature climb, which is normally how I do it, but I normally do one reactor at a time, not turning the whole thing on. And if I had turned the whole thing on and this wire was here, as soon as I tried to pull out a coolant cell, it would have just dropped another coolant cell in its place, and then I would have. So I should have realized something was wrong, but that did kill me, and I rolled it back because I didn't want to recraft these guys. But so that was that. These guys are now on MOX reactors, so the AE system started to flicker while I was doing something earlier, because now it's using 104 passively, but this guy also still feeds a few random things, which I'm fine with, especially now that they're on MOX reactors, because the other one doesn't quite keep up. But when the AE system's actually crafting a bunch of stuff, this is taking like 150 to 160 EU per tick. So before, basically on the uranium, let's see if this guy happens to be running. We'll see. I believe it's I get in about 120. This guy's still only it feeds a couple of random things, but for the most part, it just feeds these guys down here, which is still on my list to redo this area. I haven't had any issues yet, though, with these guys that are on passive, so I'm just kind of leaving them alone. Eventually, the plan will be to swap all these to Volcanuses, and I think I might even put it on its own like subnet, so that for some reason, if I'm like short tungsten or something, and instead of having it be dependent on these guys, I can still craft it in the faster ones I have up in the main autocraft tower. But we will see about that. So aside from that, what else did we do? So I don't know if the recipe changed or if I just like accidentally clicked something out, but one of the resources I was struggling with earlier was these epoxid sheets. So epoxid ultimately is made by this molten bisphenol, and then what's it called? It's like epicorin. Now, I thought the epicorin was made here, so I kind of went on a red herring thing, which is what this is built from, or why I built this guy up here. So this LCR is specifically making phenol, which actually, like, the reason I said it was the red herring is because the phenol is used with hydrochloric and acetone to craft, oops, fell off, this molten biphenol. However, where I actually was having an issue, so, sorry, getting ahead of myself. So I thought that was the issue, specifically the phenol. And the phenol, the way I had it crafted before was using this propene, along with all this other stuff up here is not a big deal, except for some reason I'm short on benzene, so I may have to look into that. So up here you can use a different recipe to make phenol. So I thought and that didn't fix the issue. The actual issue is over here. We need propene, chlorine, and hypochlorous to make. I don't remember what fluid. I should be able to tell you by looking here. Wrong one. Make the epichlorohydrin. However, the thing that was actually messed up with this setup, so I was short on propene, but I either clicked this out or this recipe changed. I'm assuming I clicked it out though, since I had the export bus here. I at some point accidentally unclicked this, so it wasn't getting the sodium hydroxide, and this LCR wasn't producing the chemical needed to finish the line. But because I thought I was short on phenol, specifically because I thought I was short on this propene, I actually set up a second, where is it at? Steam cracker or oil cracker over here. This is specifically cracking the butadiene, which I don't, as far as I can tell, I don't use for anything else. And I am going into the lightly cracked version and then throwing in this distillery, and then that gets me out propene and a few other byproducts I don't really care about. So that was something I did earlier that ultimately could have been time wasted kind of, sort of, by just realizing I'd messed this part up. Over here, though, we can see, just from like a cosmetic view, so this Mega EVF is a pollution juggernaut. So now that it's not being used as much, I actually went back through, swapped all this grass back out, so it looks cleaner over here again. The main reason, though, ultimately, that I didn't get to the fusion reactor today was that basically the Mega EBF and the vacuum freezer, A, were taking forever, and B, were drawing too much power to complete the recipe for the, where are they? These superconducting coils. Specifically, you need to do a bunch of, if we're to come over here, we need a whole lot of superconductor LUV wire. I had a backlog, at the peak of the crafting, I had a backlog of like nearly 2,000 superconductor bases that still needed to be smelted. And then even when which inspired me to come over here and like start setting up all these volcanuses, which does seem to be a whole lot more effective for me. Once I got these set up and everything caught up, the freezers down there were still like, it was 20 seconds per one ingot. So since I took most of the ingots out of the Mega EBF, I did upgrade the Mega freezer down there to be ZPM as well, like 2 LUV overclock, because it was 20 seconds per one ingot. Now it's 20 seconds for 4 ingot, which reduced the time quite a bit. And then I also set up these 8 freezers up here to help. And I didn't actually get to see what the superconducting base ended up doing for speed up here, but I assume it was pretty fast because these haven't actually been set up that long. I mean, take that back. They've been set up about 2 hours, so that kind of tracks, because when I was calculating how long it was going to take for everything to get through the Mega Freezer, I was looking at nearly 16 hours before I upgraded it, and 4 hours after I overclocked it. Now, I clearly got it done at least under 2 hours, but so that was like a major throughput problem. I do want to, like I said, I want to set up 2 more volcanuses over here. These will be for the circuit 1s. These guys up here are just set up. I've got, basically just to make it expansion proof for a little while, I've just got 3 circuit 11 things, so I have a ton of room for pattern up here. And then over, these are all just, this is a P2P tunnel interface, so these guys are all just linked together. I was originally just going to do 4 of those. I might do 3 and then have 1 on the circuit 1. We'll see, just because a lot of these recipes are the ones that require the circuit 11, and then the ones that I generally want to do on circuit 11 are usually more time consuming as we go on, whereas the circuit 1 ones are all pretty fast, so I'll probably be fine with just 2. But I also could just throw down another set of all these guys. Yeah, I got this molten pyrithium I had to set up for the netherite line, so basically I was just ready to go besides setting these up. And I'm just using the Naquata coils because I don't know, at some point I'm gonna need to use these Naquata alloy ones, I'm sure, or really feel inclined to. But for the moment I still have just 2 sets of these for whatever. Yeah. So as for the rest of the night, I'm trying to think. I feel like there was more I did today. Again, it was kind of a weird day of like trying to like put out fires kind of throughout the base. So I feel like I did some stuff over here, but I can't quite remember what it was. Oh, I fixed my chlorine because all my salt was getting recycled back into the main system and not getting pushed back over here where I keep the salt basically at a low amount, but electrolyze the rest to get chlorine. I just reminded myself, want to throw a salt bee on the industrial apron. I think I even crafted one and didn't set it up just to get more throughput of salt because my chlorine appears to be low. Which, let's check while we're at it. Chlorine. Dichlorine. No. Yeah, I don't have any chlorine, so that's something I need to fix probably first before I go on with anything else. But for the immediate plans, I do believe tomorrow I should actually be able to craft the fusion reactor because I got my 1 for the alloy smelter, 16 for the fusion reactor. Got the fusion reactor right somewhere. I don't know where. Oh, I think I put it in here. Yeah, there it is. And then I had crafted the LUV machine hulls, but I actually had 100 of these, and I'm down to 75. So you can see I crafted a ton of things with these blocks today because to craft all the things I needed. I left these in here. I am going to pull these off to the side so I don't use them anymore. But the thing I want to get done, the only thing I'm waiting on now will be 32 of these guys, which I do have to craft in like batches of like 10 at the moment. I only know this because I originally had the crafts running and they weren't completing. So, but they're basically, if I try to craft 32, this is too big of a recipe for my AA system to handle with its current memory. So that'll be something I have to address here in the near future as well, though that should be far cheaper and far easier to do. It's just something I just have to do. For the moment, I'm just gonna craft them as a few separate recipes and it'll be alright. Which now, from the looks of it, all the ingot parts are crafted, so now we're just at the easy part where I just need these guys to go, and I don't see any issues with that. So hopefully tomorrow I will be setting up my first fusion reactor and messing around with that, and we'll see where we go from there. So appreciate everybody and anybody for watching. I hope you guys have a good night. I'm going to set these guys to craft and go eat dinner. So goodbye.